Welcome, everyone. This is the Justifies the Memes, the show where the lowest of the low, that is the most wretched of wretched, and deplorable to end all deplorables, two white heterosexual Christian males from the American South. We talk about philosophy, politics, culture, history, health, fitness, and what it means to be a man in the 21st century. I'll be your host, Bill, and my co-host is out today, but I will have Yizz helping with me today, so appropriately, I titled the stream "The Yizz Justifies the Memes."
Glad to be here, brother. I'll do what I can to aid with the laughs and to explain the memes, should there be any other boomers here that need a little bit of explanation.
Yes.
But hopefully it'll be a good time. I shared this all across my social media and in Discords and Telegrams and such. I already see a couple of familiar faces in the comments, so hopefully we'll have a fun show tonight.
Yeah, I don't think Tank's having a fun evening. I guess he's got to put his dog down, but
yeah, it's sad stuff.
I haven't heard from him, so I don't know if that was a definite or not. Because I thought I had to cancel the show a few weeks back for the same reason, but we didn't end up putting him down. He ended up being all right. So, but in any case, I guess the next thing to do before we get into the Memecast news is to chill a little bit. Because I'm a no good, low down money grabber, as the saying goes. And of course, you all do not have to donate, but it's always appreciated. So there are links in the YouTube description, and they should be in the DLive description. YouTube has a PayPal. There's a Subscribe Star that I don't think that works, and I guess I got to get with Tank on that. In any case, the Entropy, though, is the top way to send chats, folks. It is a free speech platform. Please go over to Entropy and use that. I'm looking into live streaming straight from there in the very near future. So Entropy, use it. It's good.
It is. It is quite good.
We like it. We like it around these parts. So I guess without further ado, let's do some Memecast news. Oh boy, I almost didn't add that to the stream. It would have just been you and me again. I'm not the best at producing these things, even though I've been messing with the StreamYards for a while. In any case, our first meme tonight is going to set the tone for all things. All things must be set. It says, hard times create chads. Chads create good times. Good times create simps. And simps create hard times.
Indeed. Indeed.
This is the circle of life, my friends. And then once you get the gynocentric society, well,
I was actually about to say, yeah, because the simps empower the whammons, and then the when the patriarchy collapses, chaos ensues, and then chaos turns things evil. It turns things satanic, inverts things.
Yes, that's right. And they have their own army. Just like the military, the simps are sworn internet maiden protectors, is a high-class defense force dedicated to protecting the rights of women's online. Although you cannot speak to the female identifying individual, you can rest easy and honorably knowing that you are there to protect them from non-exclusive, toxic, bigot men gamers. Yes. Oh, speaking of which, it's not in here, but maybe I could play it later if we got time. I have this video clip of this gaming AI that gets all the toxic language out, apparently. It beeps it for you if you can't handle it. Some sort of AI that some company is developing. Yeah. So like when you're gaming and you're chatting and people are, dropping N-bombs and cussing at each other or talking trash on women or whatever people do, when they game. Or, I think you should just grow up, but that's me.
I'm from a time when they had silence and block features, and that was all that the internet needed. Was if you don't like it, don't listen, or don't look at it, and that was enough. And that's how I think the internet should be. But that's not how things went.
Yeah, no doubt. And folks, you got to choose. Is it going to be the simp pill or the misogynist pill? If you need a reminder, the Matrix is going to remind you with its resurrection. The choice is yours. Supposedly, the in the new movie, the twist is that Neo says, "Just stay inside, stay home, stay safe, stay in your pods, folks." I don't have high hopes for that movie. I don't think anyone understands how they're going to salvage that.
I've been calling it the Matrix recycled because it's basically just a remake of the first one. It's what it looks like anyway. Who knows? I don't know. But we'll see what happens. I'm definitely going to watch it, but I don't have any expectations it'll be anything other than tranny trash.
For certain. I'll probably end up watching it myself, just because through my cable provider, we have HBO Max, and so it's going to be free to me. And I don't even have cable. I mean, I have cable, but I only have it because I want cable. It's my internet provider as well. So it just works out that way. Because frankly, I don't know anything on cable that's good.
I haven't even owned a TV in like 12 years. I don't watch anything.
So speaking of the misogynist pill, Matt Walsh, he's pretty base sometimes, at least out of all the Daily Wire folks. He's one of the most base. He says, "Yes, I said, I don't like female analysts and reporters in football. No, I don't care if that upsets you. No, I don't apologize. Yes, I think women are feminizing traditionally male spaces. Yes, think that's bad. Yes, I'm right. No, your whining doesn't change any of this." And then it says, "Well, after thousands of emotional women screaming at me for the past 24 hours, I have reevaluated my original position and come to the conclusion that I'm even more right than I initially was."
Perfect.
Right.
I still don't trust Matt Walsh, but that's a good tweet.
I mean, I don't know if he's perfect. I don't watch the guy very often, but he does have good tweets on occasion, I see. So, and it's something like this. In a time of universal deceit, telling the truth is A, stupid, B, brave, C, an act of revolution, or D, anti-Semitic.
Can it be E, all of the above?
Right. Oh, the government will protect and serve the crap out of you folks. Don't worry about it. Oh, that wasn't supposed to be there. See, that's what I was saying. I had to go through these. I missed that one, but that's all right. Things happen.
Like that one.
Yeah. I wanted that elsewhere, but I guess like I said, I missed it. Happens. The fool argues, the wise man portrays the other as soy jack. Well, you're not going to work? There should be a GIF. There we go. And guys, with all this, we've been talking about science a lot, but not the scientific method, which comes around to, F around and find out. And we've been effing around for a really long time, and we've been finding out it don't work. It don't work the way we're being told.
Yeah.
Homeschooling isn't an experiment. People were learning at home for thousands of years. Government schooling is the experiment, and the experiment is in trouble.
That's very true. That's very true. Did you know that I think that we're almost at 20% of all children being homeschooled or community schooled now in America?
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, so one of the beauties is if people want to do this more and more, they could take like the little suburban community like I live in and just say, oh, we're going to, through the HOA or something, allot some sort of fund for a school system and create our own. But people don't think, they always think inside the system already established. They don't like to think of other possibilities.
Well, I think that will change, because as we saw radio change everything, then we had television broadcasting change everything, and then internet change everything. I know that things seem dire and we dwell on the darkness a lot, but I think through adversity and challenge comes change and growth. So I'm hoping that we're going to see a lot of shifting in how people live and what people do in America very soon. I'm hopeful anyway.
Yeah. Well, there is a shift. I think it's going to take a lot longer than what some people perceive, though, which means you can't lose heart.
Yeah.
And you have to understand that you're on the ground level of this. All you guys that are involved that are thinking these things, watching folks like Yizz and I, that are trying to be active, you guys are just way ahead of the curve than all kinds of other people out there. They will catch up.
Mm-hmm. And that's why I say keep heart and speak the truth to all who have the ears to hear it. Because those that will hear the truth and be like, oh, that's wisdom, or that's inspirational, I need to make change in my life. That's what I mean when I say have the ears to hear it. A lot of what you say, if you try to inspire others, will fall on deaf ears because they just want to grill, or they just don't believe you, or they're so blue-pilled in the matrix they don't give a crap. That's fine. Your words aren't for those ears. Your words are for the ears for people like us that are here listening to this channel right now. We have to start networking and being the change in life that we want to see and building the future that we want to have instead of just whatever the evil tyrants give to us.
Right. And part of what you've been doing on Mondays with the Discord of Dragons and what I've been doing on this channel, more or less, although we did start off a little bit more serious, but we wanted to make it fun, is kind of creating this, cultural space where we can enjoy an evening together, still talk about these things, but have fun with it.
Yeah.
And, I spend basically a large portion of my Wednesdays getting the show together and trying to tell wonderful stories and news through memes, folks.
That's basically what my Mondays are like with the DD.
Yeah.
So
and in speaking of schools and other things in the ether today, we have invisible ink could reveal whether kids have been vaccinated. The technology embeds immunization records into a child's skin. Unfortunately, Tank's not here to appreciate Uncle Ted.
It's sad. I thought of him when I made this one.
Oh, did you make this? Is this where I got this from?
This is a Yizz original, yeah.
Okay, I do probably have a few of yours in here because
yeah,
of course I catch them, but
I make a lot of memes.
Yeah, I know.
They're not all winners though, but some of them are pretty good. I like this one.
The thing is, I can never remember unless it was like really recent, if who I get them from, because I start basically sourcing them. Like I'll start sourcing them tomorrow for next week's show, essentially.
Yeah.
So I'll do a little bit every day, and then have way too many. Well, this was supposed to be later too, but hey, it's apropos. So, dear Americans, you are waking up as Germany once did to the awareness that 1/3 of your people would kill another third while a third watch.
And you know what third we need to be. So everybody keep your rifle by your side.
Yeah, no doubt. We'll know our disinformation program is complete when everything the American public believes is false. William Casey, CIA Director, 1981.
Yep. You know, this is one of those things that people don't this is a hard pill for a lot of people to swallow, is that the establishment is not there to keep you safe. The establishment there is to use you towards their ends. And it's a hard hurdle for a lot of people to jump, especially the people in my family. But I mean, my immediate family. Like in general, this area is still, pretty Confederate pilled. So they ain't a friend of the Union's government, if you know what I mean, around here. So
yeah, right. Yeah, it's interesting because I don't know. We'll have some memes about it later, but too many people just still have their head in the sand about everything. But we talked about this on Monday on your show. It's like we're on a powder keg that's about to blow at some point in some manner or another, or the dam's about to crack. The avalanche is about to have its last snowflake. Yep. Something's going to happen.
I think that we've already seen some things happen, like masks on children, CRT. We're seeing thousands of angry parents really, really getting wound up. And when you get mothers and fathers angry and ready to stop grilling and watching football to go yell at people because of their children, that's when shit starts going bad. So,
right.
And again, that's good for us, but you know what I mean?
Well, and we don't, I'm sure you don't. Most people don't want to watch us go through the birth pains of it all. We don't want to watch all the chaos that has to unfold. and frankly, maybe it doesn't have to unfold, but unfortunately, because so many people have their fingers in their ears, it probably will.
That's just how it is.
Yeah.
Like, if you want to talk about the Herzog 1/3 thing, I think the third of people that watch are the third of people that wanted to stay clueless and not be involved, that probably knew shit was going on, but just for anxiety reasons or personal weakness of spirit reasons, they just couldn't let themselves care or get involved. That's probably the third that we're never going to reach anyway. So that's why I say we have to be the third that wins.
Yeah. I've talked about this on All Minus One. For anyone who watches over there recently, hasn't seen me elsewhere, doesn't understand what's going on over there. I'm on a strike on All Minus One for 2 weeks for no reason. Basically, I was given no reason. But in any case, I talk about that over there, a good bit, that there's a third that want to rule, there's a third that wants to be slaves, and then there's a third of us that want to be free. It might be a little bit more complicated than that in reality, but for the sake of heuristics, keeping it simple, that's kind of how it works. And it might be, I think the people that want to be free are actually a lot smaller than a third, but
yeah, which is sad. But
it is sad. It is sad.
But what are you going to do?
Well, you will own nothing and be happy about it, Yizz. That's what you'll do. We're stealing everything, and we will remove you if you resist.
It's another Yizz original. I made that one Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I know you had it on your show as well since I was there, but I already had it lined up. I probably stole it that Sunday.
Yeah.
You'll own nothing and be happy about it.
Yeah.
Or, you could be living like this instead. Amazon and Tijuana.
Yep.
It's like Costco and Idiocracy.
Yep. And I think a lot of people like us have been remarking in the last 5 years just how much like Idiocracy we're becoming already. Like, it's pretty sad.
Yes, but if you are around people that are the opposite political persuasion, or at least lean that way, you often hear them apply that toward the right. What I know, what I see between media and what I see from like studies that have been done, people on the right are more informed. The people on the left are really the ones living in the most delusional world. I'm not saying that there are people on the right that believe in like Q, right?
Yeah.
So,
or lizard people or whatever.
Right. So there is that.
Yeah. But in general, I think the people on our general side of things, they work the land, they hunt, they fish, they don't believe in leftist ideals, which are anti-science, anti-nature, anti-human, that kind of thing. So even if they are, bell curve or lower, dumb, good old boys, they understand more truth and wisdom about reality than their counterparts in these leftist cities. And I think that's why we're eventually going to win.
Yeah. Well, when everything collapses and dies off, the values that actually create things are the ones that are going to win,
have,
no matter what. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But to all this, the founders are like, what the hell are you doing? So, excuse me, they couldn't imagine a situation like this in any way, shape, or form. And, they thought what they were living under was tyranny, thousands of miles away on the other side of the ocean, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I know there were soldiers and stuff occupying, but still,
yeah.
We got it pretty bad. And it's like no one, the government, no, don't be afraid. I love you.
Mm-hmm. Basically that.
Right. And it's not just the government. It's the corporations that the left loves to scream about. But they love when they do things like this. And, I mentioned watching cable. I didn't even know this existed, but I looked it up. Facebook has a little YouTube. I don't know if it's official, but this is an official sponsored ad that I would see repeatedly on TV. My wife was watching The Walking Dead. Repeatedly, they show this Facebook ad for internet regulation. Do you think that Facebook wants to be regulated?
Yes, of course.
They want others to be regulated.
No. I fully believe that Zuckerberg, Bezos's, I know he's out of the game, but like all of these people that have these massive, powerful corporations, I think they want government regulation, because the more government regulation that is made for them, the more embedded they get into the establishment, and the more they prevent anyone else having entry into the industry.
Well,
Because
right. That's
government
basically
regulation always raises the barrier for entry into that industry by millions of dollars and hundreds of employees every time.
right. That's basic economics, rent
Yeah.
seeking is what that is. And then that's what I was saying, though, that because it will regulate others, it'll regulate Facebook and them, but they'll be able to put up with those regulations that others
Yep.
can't to compete. So,
Well, they've
yeah.
gotten billions of dollars of our tax money in research and development.
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah, we do subsidize them, and but I'm not really a big pro corporation. I think I'm good with like LLCs and stuff like that. They're
Sure.
corporations in some manner are fine, but once you go public, it you are your own governing body. It creates an issue, just like large government entities.
Yeah.
So, in any case, and our great leaders at CNN say, scared by the new report on climate change? Here's what you can do about it. Eat less meat, about 30%, because that'll make you good, nice and healthy if you do that.
Oh, yeah.
Swap your car or plane ride for a bus or a train. Use a smart thermostat in your home. I don't care about the thermostat thing, but I'm going to drive my car. In any case, and it says, reminder, 100 corporations are responsible for 71% of global greenhouse emissions, and presenting the crisis as a moral failing on the part of the individual without noting this fact is journalistic malpractice, which I would agree with. But of course, 70% of the emissions come from China and India as well, and they're not going to talk about that. It's all incumbent on you, you little person that basically has no impact whatsoever in comparison. But folks, when the Antichrist comes, when it will be promoted, people think division, government control, tyranny, oppression. But it'll be unity, self-empowerment, social justice, and liberation.
Oh, yes. I've been saying this for years. That's one of the first things that really started to help me see through the Matrix years ago, was being someone who is intersex and unfortunately got pulled into the alphabet mafia. I realized what a cancerous lie everything about progressivism was, because it was basically revolutionary Marxism under disguise that was custom designed to work in America, basically. And it was a very dark realization.
Oh, no doubt. I think, and in a lot of ways, I'm fortunate because I've always been a little bit more conservative. I mean, I have my liberal leanings as well, but because of that, I was a little bit more skeptical. And I don't mean conservative like what a modern conservative is. I mean just traditional leanings, kind of, whatever. And I think very early on, I kind of saw what was going on in the world and how it was going. So a lot of people, they deal with it for a long portion of their lives, and or they don't deal with it, I should say, for a long portion of their lives. And when it hits them, the reality, it's very traumatic.
Yep.
Yeah. Can create an identity crisis, I would even say. Here we have, no one will enter the New World Order unless he or she will make a pledge to worship Lucifer. No one will enter the New Age unless he will take a Luciferian initiation. This is David Spangler, and he's an American spiritual philosopher and part of the New Age movement. And if you guys didn't know, the New Age movement's highly tied up with the UN.
Yep.
Yeah. And of course, we have cartoons promoting such things.
This is one of the biggest lies of the modern era. This fact-checking official sources bullshit, because the official sources will tell you bold-faced lies and reinforce the gaslighting that the establishment tells you, because you can find thousands of instances of just English speakers talking about the New World Order, going all the way back to President Ronald Reagan, all the way to today, In every English-speaking country and in many countries, they use the same phrase in their language, New World Order. They're part of the UN. Like, it's the New World Order is not a conspiracy theory. We're not the ones that even came up with it. The people that talk about the burgeoning New World Order, we only got that phrase from these globalist assholes that are trying to make the one world government. It's their phrase. They came up with it.
Right. You know, people like this. Deranged conspiracy theorists worry leaders may build a new world order after leader says they're building a new world order.
Yeah.
Don't worry, she clarified this. It's just something she says. The Australian public health chief clarifies there's no new world order conspiracy. It's just a common phrase I use like hail Satan when someone sneezes. In case you guys didn't know, this is what the world's largest prison looks like from space. And I don't have a lot of videos today, but you could probably find the video. You've probably seen a lot of these because a lot of these came out the other week and we ended up canceling the show last week. It says, Australian hotel quarantine hell. Near the end of this first clip, the cops threatened to gas a guy who's upset because he's not been being released as promised after 14 days, trapped in a tiny room with no fresh air. In more Australian nonsense, and this is just sad, has anyone crossed from New South Wales to Victoria recently? My son and I are stuck in New South Wales and don't know if we will be able to get back. We are going to be out of resources soon. Can't keep living in motels. For the first time, I'm scared we can't get home. And Victoria Police, this person is contemplating crossing a border from New South Wales to Victoria illegally. That is a sad state to live in.
Yep. Like I said, we're not all going to make it through the storm.
No. And then, of course, they also, in New South Wales, decided to limit drinks to residents and lock down tower blocks, that would be apartment buildings, to 6 beers per day. While the fully vaccinated are allowed 1 hour of recreational time outside. Meanwhile, in Victoria, the suicide rates with 0 COVID deaths was 276, and in New South Wales, 444 during the first half of the year.
Those are just the recorded ones that are reported that way.
Yeah. Yeah, quite sad. Give up your guns, don't need them. But the Second Amendment and also 1984. And then curfew at 9 p.m. Helicopters flying by to make sure that you stay inside. No more than 6 beers per day. Legal to go out to the store with someone. This is what they're bringing, guys. And you know, this is just a nation that Americans have been pointing to and concerned with forever. I've been saying the same with the UK. You know, with their police state and their cities and many of the things going on there. And these are all previews for the United States. Now, we have a spirit of freedom that the New World Order is trying to crush, but it's the reason why they have to attack us. You know, Yizz articulated this well. She came on here, actually, last Friday with me, said this. I just said it, I don't know, a few days before, I think, on All Minus One. I think I said it actually on the stream that got yeeted. I don't even remember. But it might not have been because I think I was talking to somebody. No, it was the last time we did the Inch Just for the Memes because Tank was asking. And I was like, dude, they have to destroy the spirit of the American people.
Yep.
Because there is no other.
That's what the new normal is for, is to usher in the Great Reset. Like, they know that they can't with the old normal, which was where people expected their God-given rights. So they have to normalize us not having those. Right. That's the whole point.
And of course, we hear here we have the Australian federal government is planning to de-anonymize the internet to introduce a social credit system to combat online abuse. Police will have access to individuals' social media accounts, which will be linked to people's passports.
Yep, that's correct. I covered this on my channel whenever it came out a week or two ago, and we discussed how this is the goal of the technocracy. They want you to be tagged like a cow on a ranch. They want you to be completely non-anonymous and have your human ID tag so connected to everything that they control. They will know everything you ever do, think, or say, or plan, and they can act accordingly. This is why we see the anti-male agenda, the anti-white agenda, the anti-Christian agenda. They want to strip away everything that gives us unity, because unity is what it will take to defeat this tyranny. And if we're only a sea of broken, disheveled individuals that have no ethnicity, no religion, no community bond, no patriotic sensations to our countrymen, then we're just a sea of individuals to be herded into the trough or into the lane for slaughter. And that's why I think things like religion and ethnic bond is so important these days, because that is how we will curry the strength to defeat this.
Right. Well, they overemphasize, that is, from the top down, more or less, the individuality of things, and also wealth and luxury. So that fractured us. And then the other side of things, of the collective, wanted to focus also on those materialistic things and of course covetry. So you get that division, and anyone who's like a normal person in the middle, excuse me, who understands we all live in collectives, because, society, communities, family, that kind of stuff, but we can still maintain individualism, and those things have to have a good balance. Those are the people they want to get rid of, just like the middle class. Why do you think they're always taxing the crap out of the middle class, making it harder for middle class jobs to exist, basically destroying the economic system that was established through higher learning? And
that's what the lockdowns were for, was to wipe out small businesses and the middle class.
Well, that specifically, yes, but what was left of it, because most of this stuff of wiping out the middle class goes back.
Oh, this has been going on for a long time.
Decades.
Right? Yeah.
This is also the immigration, all these other things. I mean, we could go on for hours, which we often do. But let's keep moving with the memes.
Sure.
So this is kind of sad, given Tank's situation. But when it's National Dog Day, but you live in Australia.
Yep.
So it seems like this will be Aussies in 2025.
I wish everybody around me would be like this. Also, you could also alternate title this to parents wanting to homeschool in 2025.
You're right. I just picked it up, and I was, really the joke is there's no way, because they don't have any guns.
Right.
They gave them up.
The only response to being disarmed is to shoot the person trying to disarm you. That is the only answer.
I mean, you can run away with your gun, but I mean,
No.
this is like,
No.
Eventually you're going to come into some sort of conflict. Yeah. Right here we have New South Wales government, right? This was the media release of the roadmap to freedom unveiled for the fully vaccinated. And we're not going to go through this whole thing, but I'll read a few little things here. It says stay-at-home orders for adults have been received. Both doses of the COVID-19 vax will be lifted from Monday. New South Wales passes at the 70% double vaccination rate under the roadmap to freedom released today. So once they hit 70%, that'll be fine. Only fully vaccinated people and those with medical exemptions will have access to the freedoms allowed under the reopening. And it says gatherings in homes and public spaces. The fact that police are doing this, they're not leaving, is insane to me.
These satanic people, they think they're God.
Yeah, this talks about, visitor numbers and whatever else. There's a second page that's about stadiums, weddings, travel, the non-vaccinated, mask, all that stuff. No matter what, the narrative is never ending. It's always shifting. It's always moving. And all I have to say is, I freaking told you so. I mean,
Yep.
We got Fauci dead to rights now with all the emails and whatever else. Of course, people like myself have been talking about it for a long time. And
Yep.
I've even mentioned on my shows, given that my wife's employment has uncovered a lot of this and stopped a lot of the funding to Wuhan, that we've known exactly what Fauci's been up to. But for some reason, the media is kind of not really on it.
Well,
Kind of
Fauci
amazing.
being a mouthpiece show for the establishment goes all the way back to the 80s. Like he has been nothing but an establishment turd that says whatever they want him to for decades. Like he has been the lapdog of the establishment that speaks about science. Like if you want to talk about scientism, he is like the one of the ringleaders of ushering in this scientism age of doctors and scientists being the new priest class. Like,
I got a clip of him from some years ago, the early 2000s, where some woman calls in on C-SPAN. It's like, I think you should resign due to how you did this or that, and blah, blah, blah. What do you think about that? And she goes, and he's like, no, I don't think I'm going to do that. He's like, and here's the reason why, because we have to worry about pandemics that are coming. And I mean, the dude's been in office almost as long as I've been alive.
yeah, same.
Yeah, and just in that bureaucratic spot. But we'll get more experts arriving to discuss the latest COVID variant at any time now. And when people start talking about getting back to normal, I give them this face. I mean, even with my wife, she'll be like, oh, when our daughter gets older and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, honey, the world's not going back to the way it was. We might have some oasis, some great enclave, but we don't need to be thinking about like how you grew up and how I grew up, because it's going to be a lot different, unfortunately.
That's gone.
Yeah,
that's gone.
It really is.
And the sad thing is, we were already living in the carcass of a dead America when we were
That's
born,
right.
Bill. Like it was already dead.
Oh, I've said it before. Since at least really the Republic died at the Civil War, but since FDR, I mean, we've basically
had this talk before. I would like
Right.
you to call it the war between the states or the war of northern aggression, please.
Well, I just say that for random folk, but I do
I'm
say
just
the war of
teasing.
northern
I'm just
aggression on occasion. Yeah, because I usually say that facetiously though, but no, like we've been in the death rattles. That's what we've been living in, the echoes, the stirs of this thing that died a century ago. And again, we're waking up to it, but it's not as easy as people think to just turn off the switch. There's going to be secession. There's going to be things that happen, unfortunately.
It's a republic as long as you can keep it. And the answer to how long we can keep it was maybe about 60 years.
Right. It's just 2 weeks. It's just a mask. It's just a jab. My God, why are you people so stupid? It's just an app to track you in your social media for everyone's safety. It's just a social credit system that will control every aspect of your life.
Yep.
And all for the name of something that is highly survivable for most people and is endemic.
Yeah.
And that has not been, come to a consensus yet in science. But science isn't a democracy. The reality is we're not going to outvax our way from this thing. It's
Correct.
just not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm pretty sure we can live with it, and it'll probably get weaker over time, in fact. Unless a super variant is created through all the vaxes. In any case, 2 weeks to flatten the curve, just until we have a vaccine, just until 70% of us are vaccinated, just until nobody ever dies. And if you guys want to see where different people are at, 2 weeks, just a mask, 6 feet, past all that. Vax, booster, that's where we're at now.
Mm-hmm.
Passports, we're coming up with that. Fauci said so just the other day.
Yep.
Apps, New York and California. Denial of medical care, Democrats. I did have a tweet about that. It's not in the show, though, today. It's just a hotel. It's just quarantine. It's just a camp, Australia. It's just jail. It's just a firing squad.
I would argue that Australia and a couple of other places are already to the it's just jail now.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They're getting there.
Sure.
They're getting there.
I mean, this is a week old from Twitter. Yes, maybe.
Well, I mean, I'm just saying.
I know they've been there for a while.
Right through jail, right away. They take you to jail, no trial, no nothing. Jail, right away.
Yes, exactly. It is zootic, animal reservoirs.
Yep.
Correct. But it did go away at once. Once it did. And that was when old Chuck Norris got it. And they went into quarantine for a full 2 weeks, folks. You can bet your paycheck on that.
Yeah, boy.
But if these folks cared, if they truly cared about, the variants, the border would be closed.
Yep.
And I did have a clip.
Hey,
I don't know.
I make this point all the time being an ethnet. Like I talk about this shit constantly. How if any of the people that were in control of all this shit going on, if they were really scared, then the floodgates would have stopped. But if you look at legal migration, I ain't even talking about border crossers illegally. If you look at legal migration, look at the UK, you look at all throughout the EU, economic migrants never stopped. They told people in Britain and Germany to stay inside and not work while they were importing thousands of people from poor places all across the world to come do the jobs they were telling their citizens not to do.
Right.
Like, come on. This is clearly not about saving grandma or because there's a scary new flu from Asia. This is clearly about something else.
Yeah, I have a clip here. I didn't get in the show because I have so many videos today. Let's see
Also,
if
I forgot this is on YouTube. You're going to get struck on this channel too now that I said that.
Yeah, probably. It's all right. This channel seems to slide, Why not? Why not get this one yeeted too, In any case, there was a video I thought I had of old Jen Psaki, where the press went up to her and asked her specifically about this thing with the
I've seen
border.
this clip, yeah.
And she's just like, no. That was her answer. It was no. I can't find it. Like I said, had way too many memes today. But and she moved right on to the next reporter. And it was like, what the hell? But, they're not tough on her like they were on the Trump campaign.
Yep.
Meanwhile, judge blocks Tennessee governor's order allowing students to opt out of mask mandates. Now, this is a loss, but there is a win in New York. A judge put a halt to the non-mask exemption in the New York law. So that's good. Not that the mandates, the non-religious exemption, that is. So though the mandate's still there, and that's stupid, that New York religious exemption requires no explanation other than you say it, you claim it.
Yep.
So that's good. But there was interesting things too, guys. I'm not saying that any of this is true. Did not research this. Just saying some interesting things about like plans here, like phase in second lockdown restriction, rush to acquisition. I don't know. This was going around the interwebs. Like this was some sort of schedule. I don't know what to tell you about these. Probably just internet garbage trash on the chans.
But who knows?
This though, this is interesting.
Experts predict that by the year 2020, a new virus will rise, spreading from somewhere in Asia to the rest of the world. And with international travel being available to even the most common citizen, a sickness which would have been contained in years past will quickly spread to all corners of the globe.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. And of course, that might have been because of prior, Spanish flus that actually came out of Asia, but still.
Yeah.
Here we have, again, from the chans, not saying any of this is true, guys, but the following turned up on the chans, take it or leave it, not confirmed, but probably true. Looks like Biden's COVID-19 executive orders are starting to show on online leaks from the press organizations, and they have been sent copies in advance blitz. So let me get this a little larger. The unvaccinated are ineligible for Social Security, SSI disability, federal federally extended unemployment assistance, COVID rent assistance, employment placement, or training. You're going to be assessed a special tax, roughly 15% of income. If you're unvaxxed, it says to cover substantial federal medical costs. The unvaxxed are no longer free to partake of interstate travel by vehicle on federal roadways. Of course, they can't enforce that, but sure. No longer free to travel by air. Now that through the TSA, they might actually be able to enforce. And the TSA shouldn't exist, but that's a whole nother thing. Any business with the federal government will be required to show 100% vaccination compliance, yada, yada, yada. I don't think half this stuff will be possible, but I do see it. They do like to overreach to at least kind of like hint at where they want to go. And I do see it as a potential. I don't know. I'm with Kid Rock on this one. Some people wouldn't recognize tyranny if it slapped a mask on their face, made them stand 6 feet apart, and forced them to take a vaccine for a virus with a 99% survival rate.
Yep. I like Kid Rock. He's based white trash like me.
Yeah, there you go. Trying to check on the chat here on occasion. Miss you guys on the entropy because doesn't show up on the StreamYards. And then if you have any questions about the vax, which some people still do, they're just kind of waiting to let it pan out. CNN investigated, CNN was all on it. They said the timetable for a coronavirus vaccine is 18 months. Experts say that's risky. That was back in April 2020. And then past vaccine disasters show why rushing a coronavirus vaccine now would be colossally stupid.
Keep in mind, this was during the Trump administration, the first two.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, a year later, April 10th, 2021, how to speak to someone who is hesitant to get vaccinated. At least they were different authors. But, remember, kids, every commercial that begins with, "You may be entitled to financial compensation," refers to something the FDA approved.
Yep.
Until next time.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
And with New York, hopefully these nurses can get some religious exemptions now. But I think the hospitals are trying to mandate it. But right now in New York, hospitals are not, one particular hospital will not be delivering babies because they don't have any staff.
What have I been telling you guys for 2 years? Get the fuck out of cities while you can.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing is these people will work in these fields and they'll do whatever, and then they'll pick their hard line, and you'll be stuck there in the city because you don't have any, having a kid, and you don't have any plans to go elsewhere. Unless you're going to be adventurous like my wife and I and not do the hospital, but most people are going to do that. So
it's definitely sad.
Yeah. And then, of course, you have the folks that are like, in a pandemic, people engage in unnecessary social interactions deserve to get what they get. It's like, that's a pretty spicy takes on AIDS, bro.
Yeah, I love this one. I didn't make this one, but this is one of my favorites of the last week or so.
There are a couple good ones like this in the last few weeks.
Yep.
Imagine the outrage if the state enforced weight loss mandates for the obese to relieve the healthcare system. Well, you know what? That kind of sort of happened where Bloomberg was like, you're going to pay a tax if you're going to drink extra soda because you're fat people and I need to spend your money because you're too stupid to spend your own money.
Yep.
I'm paraphrasing, but he basically did say that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well,
and I
personally think all taxes and tax-based programs are wrong, but if we are going to have some kind of state or tax-assisted healthcare system, you should first of all have the option not to participate. But if you do, I think that unhealthy life choices like being a fat ass and smoking and shit should make you pay more into the system since you'll have to use it more. I think that's fair if we are going to be forced to have that.
America was run and started off of import taxes, basically tariffs. That was it. And the British had other taxes and stuff on folks, but there was no income tax, right? I mean, we all know when that happened.
Yeah.
On Christmas Eve.
Oh, and Merry Christmas, slaves.
Yeah, right.
Here's your taxes, bitch.
Yeah. Old Woody Wilson. And
arguably the worst president we've ever had.
I think FDR was, but he would be a close second in my book.
Yeah.
And then there was no property taxes, guys. Like, you didn't have stuff like that back in the day. So now we have taxes on every little thing, including going to the grocery store. Well, not the grocery store, but usually on prepared food, but going to the store and buying goods, just regular goods. Mm-hmm. You're not paying a tariff on that at that point.
Yep. It's the evil of the devils who rule us, these satanic monsters. They create ways to extract wealth from us and give it to Israel. They give it to the rich bankers. They give it. No, I'm not memeing here. I'm saying they give it to where they want to build power, to nation build. They're destroying the nations that we built, that our ancestors made for us, and extracting that wealth from us while telling us we're evil for even asking if there's ever going to be a point where we can say no. Like, any one of these evil satanic motherfuckers, ask them the question, okay, how few white people is enough? How few Christians is enough? How many immigrants is enough? How many refugees are enough? You will never get an answer because there isn't one.
Well, I mean, they have various motives, but to my mind, it's all that they're part of this Malthusian death cult. Mm-hmm. They believe they have to save Mother Earth. They believe that they have to control it. They have to depopulate the Southern Hemisphere, get everyone where there's infrastructure. And they're all about extracting resources. Don't get me wrong. They're about their power and wealth. They don't think that you should have it, though.
Yep.
So, it's crazy. And, you mentioned the stuff about, immigrants and all, and it's not anything I generally harp on too much, but the Miss Ireland was nominated the other day. She was a black lady, and they're like, oh, groundbreaking, first black woman to be Miss Ireland. And it's like, well, yeah, because Irish people aren't black. Like, This is nothing. And I remember seeing an article about the EU not having enough black representation. I'm like, well, yeah, it's Europe. So I know there are black folks that live in Europe, but they're a much smaller percentage than the black folk that live in the United States. And they're definitely a much smaller percentage than the black folk that live in Africa. We don't talk about the representation in black nations of white people.
Right.
Kind of how that works, right?
Yeah, I mean, diversity, inclusion, all this bullshit, it's a one-way street, just like mass migration is a one-way street.
Right.
Like, where are the hundreds of millions of refugees and migrant workers flooding, let's say, China or Japan?
You can always...
It's not happening. It's only in white countries.
Right. You can always tell, like, when it comes to these narratives, that they're false or wrong or they're against you, essentially, if they're the primary narrative. They're the narrative that you're seeing everything being presented to you from Hollywood, from your news media, even your local news media will have these narratives, right? You'll get them in academia, and you see them in the government. Well, you know that these are the wrong, evil things to go for. You know what I say to that? I say, give me liberty, or give me a 0.2% chance of death.
Yeah.
0.02% chance of death. I'm going to say it right one way or another. So, me who has never had a PCR test. We got 1 jab, 2 jab, and a 3rd booster.
You remember how you made that post that you shared with me that day you were busy, where when you looked at the math on it, only around 14,500 people under the age of 40 have died to COVID. Remember that?
Slightly higher today, but yes, that was last week. Yes.
It's funny that they call that a pandemic when there are like 30 to 40,000 people per year under the age of 40 murdered and raped by illegal immigrants.
Right.
They don't call that a pandemic, do they? And the floodgates stay open. That should tell you everything you need to know about the people in charge.
There you go. And guys, I'm telling you, this is what you want to be. Don't be Elvis. He got fat, but I mean, He was
Dude,
kind of a
Elvis was
boss.
the
I'm not a
king.
big Elvis fan or anything, but he was kind of a boss. He did his own thing. He was Elvis. Act like Elvis. When a woman says, whisper something romantic, tell her you're not vaccinated. How did you heal without a vaccine, witch? It's coming soon to a theater near you. But with all this, with the vax mandates, ironically, DC lawmakers exempt themselves and the government's employees from the new mask orders. The Congress right now, they're exempt from the federal vax mandate. Did you hear about that? And these are the same folks that put stupid tweets up like this. Beware of the fake Trump vax. Who's ready for a third COVID booster? I mean, this is.
Did you see that compilation video that I put on my channel about all the different Democrat and establishment mouthpieces in 2020 talking about, oh no, we shouldn't do this, and oh no, the vaccine's way too soon, and oh no, I think you should just trust your doctor, and this the same people like Pelosi and Harris and Biden and all these people, they just completely flipped on a dime as soon as the usurper in chief stole the White House. They all flipped immediately.
Oh yeah, but I mean, does that surprise you? No, not me. I'm pretty sure I know what you're talking about. I guess I saw it on your channel, but I do remember seeing a compilation of that. But I believe it or not, Yizz, I know we're friends and we see each other enough, but I don't end up watching all your stuff because I don't.
It's okay. It's fine. I just thought you might have seen it because it was a really short video. It was like 2 minutes or something.
I don't expect everyone to watch all of the stuff I do. I mean,
I know. I just wondered if you saw it or not because it reminded me of it.
I did see some compilations. I don't know. I never know where I see stuff. I never remember correctly.
Oh, that's fine.
I see too much. See too much. Like right now, guys, you're seeing too much right now. Israel, the only country with a third shot for everyone age 12 and plus, 12 and up, and passports for 12 and up, multiple lockdowns, mask mandates, Sweden, none of those things. And
yep. I'm telling you guys, the vaccine is the pandemic. The vaccine is the virus.
Well, you're going to get me yeeted for that, yes. Jeez, I disavow YouTube. I don't know this woman.
Look, check with CNN. If you check with CNN, you'll see that what I'm saying is just comedy because clearly what I just said is not true. Hopefully that'll save you.
Nothing will save us. Yes, nothing.
You mean nothing's going to save the evildoers? We're going to win in the end, and we're not going to forget what they did to us.
And the ACLU said, far from compromising them, vaccine mandates actually further civil liberties.
Wow.
Vaccines will make you free. And then I told them after the 7th booster shot, we let them see their families.
I love this one because how did I even follow Aaron McIntyre? How did I miss this one? I can't believe I missed this one. Wow, this one's amazing.
I got that off of Discord, I think.
Oh, Aaron's a great account to follow. You should totally follow him.
Oh, no, I follow his channel.
His account is off the chain.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know about his Twitter because I don't really get on Twitter a lot, but I watch his YouTube on occasion. So, September 7th, 2020, new COVID cases, 25,166. Vaccinated people, 0. September 7th, 2021, new COVID cases, 3,100 and
301,000.
Or 3, yeah. Numbers and dyslexia is really bad for me. You can read the numbers if you want, but the vaccinated 177 million. So,
yeah.
So what you're saying is you want us to put ivermectin into our bodies, like from a farm store. It doesn't have to be from a farm store. You can get it from a doctor. But the vaccine has what body craves. It's got mRNA.
This is really good. I've not seen this one either. This is good.
Me trying to find my 14th booster pass for the Omicron variant so I can buy a sandwich.
This was good too. This is good.
Yours aren't the only memes I steal, yes. Get vaccinated, get Bell's palsy disease, get another vaccine.
Yep.
It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And look, guys, if you know, you do what you want. Go talk to your doctor. Do all that stuff, right? I don't care about you. I'm just saying I don't want to get it. But if you want to listen to somebody, listen to Joe Biden about it because he is the president, right? He knows all. He's the best of the best. And we know that it is attested to by the just sheer amount of numbers of votes that he has gotten.
Between a man and a woman, and states must respect that.
I'm gay.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
All right. So, you know, if though they keep telling you to get it, just stand strong and tell them, nay.
That's good. That's good.
And only parasites fear ivermectin. So be aware of that. And if you are worried about it, just realize that the FDA did approve it, just not for COVID. It's not approved for COVID, right? But what you do with your doctor is between you and your doctor, not the FDA, you and your doctor.
Right.
It won a Nobel Prize in 2015, if you didn't know. Actually animal tested, 60 plus clinical trials, hospitalization and death, 85% down, early treatment, yada, yada, yada. Look, I'm not here to advertise this or anything at all. I don't know enough about it, but what I will tell you is that, you know, this did happen. This happened right here. Oscar De La Hoya, 48-year-old in fighting shape, fully vaxxed, hospitalized with COVID. Joe Rogan, 54 years old, weightlifts 3 times weekly. Mahorsta Warmer beats COVID in 2 days. Of course, he also did Regeneron and other stuff, but
I need to get me some of that Regeneron. I hear it's really good shit.
Yeah, Regeneron. This is actually what happened. COVID fighting the DMT and Joe Rogan's immune system.
Oh man, that artwork's old. I remember that from I think that's early 90s art. That's old. I think so, yeah. Like I saw that picture forever ago. Maybe late 90s, I don't remember. That's old.
Yeah, it looks like that to me looks like it's from not Cyberpunk, Shadowrun, something like that. I don't know.
No, Bill. This is Warhammer 40K.
Oh, is that Warhammer?
That's the Imperial Fists.
I have no idea. I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure
it looks like that. It looks like some sort of cyberpunk thing to me.
It's not.
No,
Bill.
Does Warhammer go back? Warhammer goes back that far?
Warhammer started off as Rogue Trader in the 80s, man. Warhammer's old as fuck. This is Warhammer 40K, and I am not certain that those are the Imperial Fists, but the colors look like that. That the prominent one you can see there with the assault cannon is a Space Marine Astartes with Terminator honors and tactical dreadnought armor, wielding an assault cannon and a power fist. And the guy up front with the checkered chainsword is probably, I would say, an elite scout sergeant. No, that's not scout armor. He's probably just a Space Marine sergeant.
Why aren't you making like content like this and RPG nerd stuff that is perfectly apolitical and safe? Yes,
because none of that helps us defeat anti-whiteism or reclaim our country. That's why.
Well, I'm
on a mission, Bill. I told you this.
I'm just like, good Lord, how do you know all this? It's okay. I know random things too. And then got it done. Got it done. In any case, guys, what really happened was he took that ivermectin and you don't even want to know. Just transform right into a horse. And in doing so, he was bounces back and won the Kentucky Derby. Congratulations. And speaking of races, we had the Gavin Newsom recall election today, which was ethically done. There was no rigging whatsoever. Perhaps
Right.
in a few months we might hear about some fortifications, but it was perfectly kosher. And after years of screaming about white privilege, two white privileged people tried to stop a black man from getting a job. So
Definitely
that's the real
kosher.
story. It's the real story. And all of the leftists, they were on their way to prevent Larry Elder from becoming the first black governor of California.
Of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
And they were just like, they were talking about Larry Elder like he was going, white power, white power.
I love Clayton Bigsby. That's one of the most memorable things that Chappelle ever did. It's really
I think
funny.
it's the one thing he ultimately regrets doing, but
Is it really?
he's talked about it in the past. Yeah, but I don't know.
Fuck Dave Chappelle.
It is the best. Well, I think Dave is Dave. He's all over the place. And I'm sure you guys saw the clown world scenario where a white woman in a gorilla mask threw eggs at Larry Elder. We're hitting levels of Hulk that shouldn't be possible.
You want to hear something else? That was also a Yizz meme. I made that one too.
Oh, did you? Good Lord, yes. Well, I'm bound to have probably 5 or 6 of yours. And I mean, tonight, I believe the count is 160.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I usually try to keep it under 120. Depending on the type of guest that we have on, depending on how much other conversation we want to have, I'll try and get it down like to 80 or 60 or something. But it gets hard. It gets because the memes are so good.
Oh, I know, right? I'm having a blast. We can go as long as you want. We'll do all 160 if you want tonight.
Oh, we'll probably get through them. We're all right. We got another hour show, so we're good. And of course, guys, the Democrats did all of their praying to their gods that they could to make sure this election would go off without a hitch. And Newsom thought he had it in the bag. So believe it or not, though, with all of this very just kosher behavior, all of the truths and justice and grace and dignity that the Democrats have in all of their actions, there was some impropriety. And San Fernando Valley residents have trouble casting recall ballots, said that they were already voting. It's like, I'm shocked.
Yeah.
No, not that shocked.
Well, not that shocked.
But who could have thought that California, the land of crooked politicians, homeless junkies, illegal immigration, gang violence, perpetual debt and taxes, would in any way, shape, or form not be corrupt?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'd like to take a quick moment just to remind everyone, illegal immigration definitely hurts us, but legal immigration is the real evil of immigration. Legal immigration is what has been destroying things for decades. Legal immigration that is signed off on and supported by both of our corrupt-ass parties.
We know where most illegal immigrants come from, where they go into. They go into some of the highest level jobs that there are.
Yep.
And
the H-1B,
that's pricing
H-2B.
Americans out of that high-paying job.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not to mention those immigrants are also taking university and specialist trade skill slots that, people who are supposed to be working here in America should be getting.
Yeah. I'm not anti-immigration, but I've said it before to you, I'm all about putting on a moratorium for a time being, and get ourselves straight.
Because I'm a proponent of the natural order, and people naturally, we commingle, we want to travel and stuff like that. I think that's normal and healthy. That's okay. But mass migration and the kind of migration we've had for the last 50 years is not at all normal or natural. Not at all.
No. Well, what we're doing is, real quick here, Val Jean for $5. Thank you, Val. Over on the Entropy. I don't even trust doctors. So thank you for the donation, Val. Check over on DLive. But yeah, it's like, we as citizens are paying through all these things for taxes. We get first come, first serve for jobs, for whatever else. It's our resources, and it's not someone in some other nation. Could they contribute to our society? 100% they could. But we need to be, take care of those spots first. And the sciences are a big one, especially with doctors and stuff like that. You guys think of how many areas, how many places you go, and you'll find people who are foreign immigrants who are your doctors. And I don't have a problem with those people, but
they're hurting our country.
They're taking They are taking their jobs away.
And again, like most people that talk about this, we understand that it's not that the immigrants that are coming here are evil. It's that the heartless, evil monsters in charge of our countries that all they care about is lying go up and staying in power. They're moving people here who aren't necessarily bad people. They just want a job and a better life. But shouldn't they care about the people who already live here having a better life? We're their constituents, not people from other countries. The whole thing is just evil. It just stinks of evil and a sinister agenda.
It's the Afghanistan issue where we spent, $6 trillion and we have nothing to show for it. There's no infrastructure. There's nothing going on over there.
Yep.
What was that about?
Well, the U.S. military is not a police force.
No. Oh. Josh, he says every single doctor in the VA. Dude, I've gone to the VA like twice. I live pretty close to one. I don't go there. I mean, I pay out of pocket. But since you're here, I just saw that from you. Speaking of Texas, when you have American women, when they can't murder a child in a state they don't live in.
Right?
Yeah, it's quite terrible, isn't it, ladies? You can't murder that kid that's not yours in someone else's body in a state you don't live in. Sorry. Took your freedoms. These freaking idiots. Abortion clinics in Texas.
Oh, what? Oh, wait.
You see that? Spirit of Halloween.
I don't get it. I'm not making the connection. What's the joke here?
Okay. Spirit of Halloween goes into businesses that are closed, basically. So
okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. I don't know what Spirit
of
Halloween
Halloween
does.
is a big old Halloween store. They only open up seasonally. So, and yeah. There you
I
go.
live in the boonies, dude. This is like a suburb thing. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I live on the East Coast, so everything's crammed together here, even when you're in the more rural areas. But I don't like conservatives in red states. So why did you move here? I mean, but to Don's point this morning, he was talking. He is right that it's mostly more conservative or moderate people moving out away from like places like California.
Yep.
But some lefties do go. Lefties do go. And frankly, folks, if you're in a state like California and you're a conservative, you should probably go. And I know folks, some people watch the show. I don't see Osis in the chat tonight, but I know he's out in old San Fran. He won't go, but realize it's going to get worse and worse and worse. And there's not really anything you can do about it. So go where your vote will actually count. Only in America can you not only brag about being a serial killer, you're applauded by the left.
Yep.
It's kind of like just a friendly reminder that banning abortions violates Jewish women's ability to practice our religion. What?
Hey, they said it, not me, son.
I don't even get this because there ain't nothing in the Torah about that. In fact, there's a passage in the Torah that if a man kills a woman's baby when she's struck, if she's with child, that he is, has to provide just compensation and whatnot. He's to be punished.
I could explain this, but I would rather you go learn it from No More News. Learn it from Adam over at No More News. That is No More News from
Are you talking
Adam.
to the audience or me? Because if you're going to talk about like Kabbalah and the Talmud and all that stuff, I know plenty of stuff that you're talking about. So
Bit Shooting Odyssey, No More News.
Meanwhile, we're on the right side of history, says parties whose abortion position is endorsed by North Korea, Harvey Weinstein, and the Church of Satan. And I came across this. If God killed his kids, why can't I abort mine? Well, one, yeah, exactly. Two, did God not raise up Christ, if that's who you're talking about? Was Christ not raised from the dead? I don't get what you're saying
This
here.
is a very ugly statement. I don't like this
Yes,
statement.
I don't either. It would be awesome if all over Texas there was a mass exodus of women from dating apps. By the millions, Texas women should delete Bumble, Hinge, Tinder, Match, and all the others. Texas men need to see the women's profile go dark.
Good.
Yeah. Whatever. I'm on strike. No choice for me. No sex for him. Yeah, right. It's like we don't care. We don't care. You're not to mention that the abortion issue is divided 50-50 amongst women. It is a 50-50 issue, political issue of pro-life versus pro-choice in women. So why is it the other 50% of the women are, for women's rights?
I just want to know how they got clothes on a hog. That just seems like it'd be a lot of work.
Oh, yes. Greta Thunberg. The reasons why women have abortions. Personal choice, not your concern. Mind your business. F off. Paul Joseph Watson. Now do vaccines.
Oh, yes. This was a good tweet.
Yes.
I usually don't care much for PJW, but this was a really good tweet of his.
I like him, but you got to understand what he is. He is a propagandist. That is his primary goal. That is his primary job. That is what he does.
No, I know that. I'm just saying I usually don't care for his stuff because I'm kind of already there, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get that. I don't watch him as, as much as maybe previous years, but yeah, I mean, I know different people like always get these quick takes on things. It's not really that deep and all. And I'm like, yeah, because it's propaganda, guys. Mm-hmm. He's taking a bit of truth, a kernel of truth, and he's making it propaganda like the left does. That's everything. That's what PJW is.
Well, so, I mean, to be fair, it's not just the left that does that. Like everyone who seeks power and to change minds does that. Propaganda is a neutral term. Everyone uses it. Like propaganda just means you're using material, whether fake or not, whether emotional or not, to further an idea or a cause that you wish to see become more prevalent. That's what propaganda is. Like you could even call most of the stuff I make propaganda because I want people to know things and to think and feel certain things about issues. So,
well, I mean, when I talk about propaganda, I think Edward Bernays and his book Propaganda and the means of controlling people's minds that he talks about in that book.
Okay.
And so he was using psychology essentially to mass market to people. And yes, businesses do that. All kinds of people do that. But he was also talking about doing this for the benefit of humanity. He was all part of the New World Order group, if you would. The open conspiracy that H.G. Wells talked about.
Yeah.
And, so that's kind of the way I'm thinking about it. So I'm more the 1984 style message. Josh says right here, he says propaganda, sales, and marketing. Yes. But really the key to it is it's propagating a message. It doesn't matter if it's truthful. It doesn't matter if it's a lie. It's to propagate a narrative. Yeah. And that's all I'm saying is PJW, that's what he does. So in any case, if you guys hadn't heard, there was a big old gala the other day, here at, what was it, the Met or whatever it's called, where billionaires and millionaires get together. Here, this brave young lady says, peg the patriarchy. Well, I think the patriarchy is cis normative, so I don't know if they would like a pegging. But
I'd rather peg her with my 45-70 lever action, but whatever.
Yes. Then we have No Mask Lady, as well as all the guests attending for equal women's rights, while the servants in the background wear their little servant get-ups. And
yep.
Yeah. Quite interesting. And of course, the wonderful, fabulous, and always highly articulate and intelligent AOC was on the scene. And this lady says, or this individual says, my son, my 7-year-old, has to wear a mask at school for 8 hours every day. And they're, of course, sitting there cackling.
Yep.
Thought that was a pretty good little photo from G Prime 85. But, the big news was the dress that she wore, because she was stunning and brave and put Tax the Rich at the $35,000 a plate gala. And then she makes 6 figures, of course, owns a Tesla, lives in a luxury building above Jeff Bezos' Whole Foods. And of course, it says she's BS. She is rich. Let's see her pay the extra taxes first. But she won't, because she'll be exempt, just like she is from the mandatory federal jab. And, she kind of threw away her old abuela with this whole act.
Yeah.
But other more stirring and important questions. Who wore it better?
It's funny because the first time that I saw that dress, I immediately thought somebody had just taken a Chick-fil-A bag and photoshopped it onto a dress as a joke. And then I realized it wasn't that. But,
I thought it was AOC in a Chick-fil-A dress.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the first thing I thought of when I saw that.
Right. I had numerous of these, but I didn't throw them all in. But there were a bunch of them that had some writings on them. Real quick, though, just for anyone's information who's not aware, do the rich pay their fair share? Well, yes. In fact, they do. The top 1%, those making over $500,000 a year. This is actually, it depends on your geographic area, more or less. If you're in that top 1% of earners. Now, as far as taxation goes, I guess whatever brackets they have. This is the tax bracket. So, right, this is 40%. And then 20 and all that good stuff. You guys can look at it. All I know, she should have wore this. This would have been actually more stunning and brave.
Yeah, that would have been better.
Yes. Or she could have went this way. Despite being only 13% of the population. But Trump showed up and
I saw this.
Yeah. He stated the election was something different than fortified. And of course, he met up with AOC and she said, "Can I ask a stupid question?" He says, "Better than anyone I know."
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, in goings about with the federal government, we have, Mr. Chipman not making it through. This is good, but it could be better. Marjorie Taylor Greene introduced a bill to abolish ATF and auction off confiscated firearms. That is where we need to go, folks.
I just libertied all over myself.
Yeah, well, that's why that's why I've endorsed like Michael Sisko in my area for Congress when he runs, and my wife and I met with him a few weeks back before the baby. So she's 12 weeks today, guys, officially. So it's been 3 months because she was getting ready to blow when we met with him. But yeah. We need people that are going to do stuff like this, whether it goes anywhere or not. This is what the left does all the time, and their stuff eventually gets through. It has to be challenged back. No, I'm not a big proponent of advocating for, fighting on the federal level, because that's just idiotic. It's completely taken over. But if we're going to get people in, we might as well get people in that will fight. Come back to local, though. Think local, right?
I think that it is okay for people to fight on all fronts. One of the things that I get frustrated with in the dissident right is we have a lot of content creators, a lot of small fractured groups, especially in the nationalist crew, that think, this is the one way that we all have to do things. And I'm like, dude, there's dozens of millions of us that are active doing shit. Right. We can do all kinds of stuff. We can do localism. We can talk about parallel building and communication. We can talk about building compounds. We can talk about building community schools. We can talk about building religious focal centers. We can talk about getting the America First movement into power in all different places across America. We can do all kinds of stuff at once because we got millions of people that are actively caring about this right now. So I think fighting on all fronts right now is not stupid.
Well, when I'm saying we're not unified enough on a grassroots level to get enough candidates in across the United States to affect the deep state and the globalist new world order. I mean, I don't find that. That's what I mean by stupid. Yeah,
but sure. But I'm just saying, fighting on all fronts buys us more time. It thwarts their plans in the rural areas, which, let's be honest, that's what really matters because that's where most of us live and need to live. And, when push comes to shove, I guarantee you that one of the power plays they're going to do is try to force everybody who owns the farmland in America to default and to be legally seized by some entity so they can sell it all off to Bill Gates or China or BlackRock or whatever. And then it's going to come down to who can protect their land schlick-schlock.
Right.
And that's why we got to do everything we can to build and prepare for that inevitable time when it comes.
Right. Which is why, and that's kind of what's my point. My bigger point is we got to focus local. We got to think local. We got to fortify and prepare ourselves.
Yep.
Because, well, I mean, look, this is the state of the federal government now,
Mm-hmm.
And that's all over the world. And, live look at planning for the September 18th rally.
Yep, pretty much.
Some altist, fed, another fed.
The reason why I know that the 18th thing is bullshit is everyone in all of my circles and communities learned about it through accounts we didn't know on Twitter and Facebook. It's clearly some kind of Fed thing, like or media Fed thing, whatever. They're all in bed together. Like it's not at all an actual movement or march or anything. We all know that.
Right. Yeah, Sebastian, you are correct. They have been causing all kinds of market shortages, and it will get worse just because of the restraint on oil, because that's what Biden did right away. They'd already see last year the Fed inflated prices. Of course, Trump has nothing to do with that, neither does Biden. That's the Fed. But they pumped all that money into the economy, more than they ever have at any point ever. I think 66%, 70% of all dollars ever printed since the 80s. So they pumped all that out, and then Biden got rid of all the gas stuff, right? Changed all those rules, stopped the pipeline. And that necessarily causes the shortages on top of the COVID lockdowns and now mandates. Like, I personally believe like a lot of these mandates, they know will make people quit their jobs. Mm-hmm. Everyone was talking forever, and they've just now recently started talking about it. And I think I've mentioned it a little bit before some of the other people, but everyone was talking forever that they didn't want to deal with, or people were getting paid to not work. But very few people were talking about that. A lot of people didn't want to deal with COVID restrictions like mask wearing and stuff in jobs.
Yeah.
Now I mentioned it in the past because I'm actually not, really employed because of that. Like, I'm working for myself, basically. I'm trying to do my own stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like, not because of COVID stuff specifically. I did stop going to school because of that, but because of the other ethical concerns I had, I quit my last job. So people are going to have to come to that line at some point. And we're seeing that now with the vaccine mandates. But again, these are other things. If you look into it, if you're trying to strategize, well, I know Americans aren't going to all put up with this. Well, too bad. We control all the money. We control all the credit systems. We control, the police forces. We control this and that. And therefore, these people won't have anything because they won't comply. And I always bring it back to, this is the metaphoric at worst mark of the beast, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, as they do all this, guess who gets cut loose? Serial pervert cut loose because of bail reform. Terrorizes New York City neighborhood. And, no matter what, it's like the lefties they want to destroy everything. It's chaos. It's absolute chaos. I never thought I'd die fighting alongside the state and the multinational corporations, the leftist media. How about you shut up, bitch? I could do that.
That is how it be, though.
Yep. Yeah. And they're all radicals and revolutionaries. No, they're not. They're not. And of course, you have this going on. Why aren't you gay yet? But Dad, I like girls. Stop repressing me, you Nazi.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
Well, here is that encroaching cringe, though, is male capsules will be available to help a child together.
Male couples.
Male couples, sorry. What did I say? Capsules?
You said capsules.
Yeah, well, that's going to happen, Male capsules will be able, as soon as I read that, I was like, what the hell did I just read? Male capsules will be able to have a child together. Couples will be able to have a child together of their own flesh and bone. They're I can't even do it now. One parent will provide the sperm semen, the other will donate a skin cell that will become an egg. This is not science fiction. Israeli researchers have grown an embryo outside of the womb. They're working on it.
I'm telling you, the seat of Moloch. It's real.
So old Malag, who's been on it with the Islamist Taliban tweets.
Oh, I love this guy. He's hilarious. I follow him on Twitter.
Yeah, Western liberals need to understand we reject feminism because we see what it does to America. We never accept feminism. We would have given our lives to protect Muslim children from this. Yes, I bought my 10-year-old daughter a dildo, and that's perfectly okay. Actually, no, you're a bad parent. You're not a good parent, actually. You're sexualizing your child before they're even of adolescence. What the hell?
Gas immediately.
Yeah. What the hell? I think armed with this image alone, you could prove to somebody the existence of objective metaphysical evil. Yeah.
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 Anne Arundel County, I didn't live there, but, Maryland, county public schools having drag queen story hour. The Evangelical Lutheran Church of America makes history by installing first openly transgender bishop, September 11th, 2021. By the way, anathema to you, church. I am not an elder in your church. I do not care. You know that September 11th is the most likely date of 3 BC is the most likely date of Christ's birth. This is woe to you. That's all I have to say. And in even more, I forget where this was at. You're going to love this. This is straight cringe. In a play describing Adam and Eve, this is an actual naked couple in front of children. Yeah.
Gas.
Them. This is not a religion. Also them. In gay we trust. Turn customers into fanatics, products into obsessions, employees into ambassadors, and brands into religions.
I've not seen this. What's this from?
That looks like the Zuck.
Oh, is that Zuck? Okay.
I'm not sure. It's one of the tech things, though, one way or another. So, yeah.
Is this real or shooped? Because I can never tell anymore.
It could be photoshopped. It could be. But either way, I thought it was good enough.
Oh, it's very apt either way. I was just curious if this was, it's...
Yeah, and this is what they're doing, folks. This is what they're spewing at you. They're spewing at you communism. They're spewing at you nonsense. And they go around and they get their little strategies together. And this is what they're doing. I want to take selfies here and here. Castro's daughter is just controlled opposition, telling you about the Great Reset. Look at this. Here's some more. Do you know that Pete Buttigieg is a Rhodes Scholar? Do you folks know what the Anglo-American Alliance is? Have you heard of this guy, Carol Quigley? Where America's kind of under the crown and the Rhodes Society and all that stuff. Yeah.
You talking about Freemasonry?
Oh, no. They might be a part of that or whatever. No, Cecil B. Rhodes.
Sounds like what you're talking about.
Yeah, well, I mean, these are all very similar things. As best explained, they are circles within circles within circles, Carol Quigley put it. meaning only a few actually run the pull the strings, run the show, but there's all the different groups. And as they are promoting degeneracy and things against nature and God, we have, model sleeps with 50 men after accidentally attending swingers party on first date.
What?
Accidentally.
What is wrong with this bitch's face? I'm not. I haven't even processed what you said. I'm still looking at her face. What is wrong with this? It's like she's a Mrs. Potato Head with makeup on. Like, what is this?
That's what they all look like, don't they? I mean,
that don't even look like a real person to me.
I don't know. I mean, they get their bolt-on boobs and their bolt-on butts and whatever else they bolt on, and I don't know why guys like any of that because it doesn't look real.
I don't like it.
When I was once the man whore that I was, back in the day, I didn't like it because it don't feel real either. And none of those girls that do that have good personalities. I can tell you that. But whatever. The 27-year-old whore.
Hooer.
Hooer.
Hooer. Hooer. Like some really old people say it. Hooer. Yeah. I love that.
Full relationships. Only hooering. Calls herself a strong woman. Can't even remember her body count anymore. Kids, maybe later. I have my life to live first. Years of sucking the D have left her emotionally stunted. Sees her therapist twice a week, still unhappy. I'm whoring. Who? I didn't even say that right.
Hoory.
More abortion than lucid thoughts. Blames men. She's got 3 names scratched out on her arm, tattooed there.
Yeah. I blame her parents.
Loving the stream. Well, evil author, I appreciate that. You should be here more often.
I recognize that name. I see evil author around the way sometimes. Good to see you, buddy.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yizz is on the stream on occasion, and we try to make it fun.
Yeah.
Try to make it fun. And we're rounding them out, guys. We're getting toward the end. We should be right on time, actually.
All right.
So, and this is the same girl that ends up like this. Yeah.
Sad.
This is a girl when I was man whoring that I would never stay the night with. Would probably have her come over to my place, but would never take seriously. And yeah. I mean, it's just gross. So what you all need to do to avoid all of this degeneracy that they're putting out there is you need to come up with some plans, folks. You need to develop some plans.
Yep.
And, here are my plans, more or less. My parents in the 80s, let's move closer to the city so we can raise a family. It'll be easier to find work. Me in 2021, I need to get away as far from civilization as possible and start homesteading.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Localism and parallel building, buddy. That's what it's all about now.
Yeah. And I am certainly working on that. And I always say, guys, you do have time, but obedience and conformity, they're the real virus.
Yep.
They're what's getting things to go along, to get along, right? People hedging their bets, just riding them waves and hoping to coast and be safe. And at some point, you're going to get swallowed up. You can't ride those waves forever. And I'm talking about these folks too. Like when you don't understand who will come and take them.
Yep.
That is the thin blue line and come and take them.
It's this is the thing that the boomer truth regime has sort of failed for the last 60 or 70 years. This concept that we can instill moral authority through a godless giant bureaucracy that profits off stealing from us and other people around the world. Like it's madness. And these people, the boomers, like they bought into it. And it's just, it's pathetic how this this completely backwards, nonsensical mindset is just riddled through so many people. But I think that there's a lot of folks, especially our age and younger, Bill, that this shit don't work on anymore. I think that people are not like this that are younger than us.
Well, well, we're like Gen Xers, so it's like hit
You're
or
on the
miss
cusp of Gen X, yeah.
Right, and so. Well, and it depends on what you look at. It depends on what you look at. Some people say I'm a millennial. Other people say it's after my birthday, whatever. Or, you know, I always grew up thinking I was a Gen Xer. I relate to that generation.
That's what I was told. I was told I was the last part of Gen X.
Right. And regardless, those people are kind of in between, but a lot of them are awake. And I know because I go out and I talk to people my age, you know.
Yeah. A lot of Gen Xers are pretty good about this stuff, but the boomers and the millennials buy into this bullshit. And
the boomers are the ones that are doing a lot of the voting, and they're ones doing most of the donating to political causes. You know, we need a revolt against the clown world, guys. We cannot do this anymore.
Yeah,
and I don't know. I would like it to be fourth generational. I'd like it to be information warfare, but no matter what, wherever it goes, at some point, you will have to stop running and take a stand. Either you, your children, or your grandchildren, and it's better that it's you. It really is. And that you are a good leader and you raise those children or grandchildren right so they don't give away the beauty of the freedoms that we provided for them, because that's what the last few generations did for us. The boomers, the silent generation, and everyone calls them the greatest generation, you know, and they did do some great things, but them and their families are the ones that fell for the lies of the modern world and the globalism, right?
Yep. And I do my best not to give them such a hard time, because if you think about what it was like getting information back in the teens, in the 20s, you had to rely on radio, newspaper, that kind of thing. And it was so much easier for the power structure to have a lot of control and influence, because if all you heard on the few radio channels and all you were told from, you know, newspapers and what was being fed to you was this ridiculous lie to get everybody involved in the brother war era, to get us to kill each other. It's a lot different than things, you know, 40, 50 years later, when you had mass media and the ability to, you know, go to libraries and watch TV and look at film and stuff like that. So I think that our people were stronger and smarter back then, but it was easier to mislead them and lead them into jingoistic nationalism back then than it would be now. But who knows? Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I feel like that's true. I don't really have any proof for it. That's just sort of my own wisdom speculating there.
Well, you know, it didn't take long the way technology worked back then. They manipulated the markets a little bit, and then it was kind of easy to convince society, oh, no. Look, you need mommy and daddy to take care of you. And economics was not a well-developed field either. And we didn't have the writings that we have today. We didn't have more of the modern experience with the modern technology.
Yeah.
So we had like ancient sort of understanding of economics, but it wasn't as developed as it is today.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I could see where they fall into it, you know, accidentally, but there should have been certain fundamental truths they should have been watching. And I always blame this back on men and male leadership. There would be no gynocentric, you know, matriarchy and global homo if men were leaders and you know, provided that stability that we need. And what we've done is we basically go, you know, we'll listen to the women instead. And
also in the brother war era of the early 1900s, World War I and II, the men could have said, no, government, I'm not going to go across the ocean and kill people. That ain't my problem over there. I don't care what you're telling me. I'm not going to send my sons to go die for somebody that I don't know because you tell me that it's for whatever. Like, we could have made a stand back then, but they didn't.
In the First World War, we were like that, and we were going up into World War II until it, you know, Pearl Harbor and those things. But the administrations in both cases made things happen to basically get ourselves involved in those wars, regardless of what the people wanted. I mean, and they went. Yeah. So
everything from the Lusitania to Pearl Harbor to weapons of mass destruction, like it's all been bullshit for the war machine.
Remember this too from General Patton, that the enemy is just as frightened as you are, and probably more so, they are not Superman.
Patton said some other stuff that's read.
Oh, I know. But we're on YouTube. So.
Yeah, I know. I'm just letting the people listening know that Patton's pretty
Patton has
based.
some things to say. He certainly
Patton's
did.
pretty based.
And folks, if you weren't aware, this is where we're at right now. It's where we're at.
Yep.
So again, get that plan together and find yourself some wife material and procreate. This is what wife material looks like.
Oh yes.
Yes.
Oh yes.
You get yourself a Merca boner. Right? And for your romantic date, go out, build bug out bags, survival camping, firearm training, and foraging. All great things to do. Actually, none of this is hard to do or learn. You could get actually pretty proficient at most of this within a month. I mean, it not even that long, but I'm just saying, just a couple times a week, maybe a little practice just on your weekends.
Mm-hmm.
Fire is one of the easiest things to do. Shooting's not a hard skill. It's when you get into more tactical, complicated stuff, it becomes hard. Yeah,
but learning the basics of firearms is really easy.
Yeah.
Like I've taught little kids how to use firearms. It's real easy. Like I got taught, I think when I was 4, I think I got my first 410 shotgun on my 5th birthday. And it's easy. Like if you grow up with firearms and knowing how to hunt and build fires and go fishing and how to gut fish and the right way to hang up a deer to strip the carcass, like, boys and girls both where I grew up learned to do that shit. Like it's just,
I didn't do the camping growing up, but I used to fish. I liked, or not camping, hunting. I like to get back into that. That's kind of ideally whenever I end up moving here, that'll happen. So yes, General Smedley Butler talked about the war machine doing the banana wars. Yeah, you know what else he did is he talked about a coup that happened. He exposed it, and Congress buried it, and no one got in trouble because they were a part of it. Probably a bunch of industrialists, a bunch of corporatists trying to take over the United States with a communist plot. And I'm a Marine, so I know all about General Smedley Butler because he is one of the only Marines to have won 2 Medals of Honor. But guys, hate what the world seeks and seek what it avoids.
Very good. Very good.
And if you hear anything from Karen, like, I'm a woman and I vote. So does my mom, grandmother, daughters, and granddaughters. Just say, well, stop it.
Well, stop it.
Damn it. Stop it.
Like I say on streams a lot, stop electing women.
Yeah, right. And this is not to say that there are never good female leaders, but don't even take the chance. Why? Get strong male leaders in.
Yes.
And the first day of homeschool, folks, teach your children everything the state says is a lie, and everything it has stolen.
Truth.
And no matter what, just because you're trash doesn't mean you can't do great things. That's called garbage can, not garbage cannot.
I need that meme. You need to send it to me whenever you can.
I'll get it to you later, Yizz.
That's going to be my new banner.
It's still on my phone, I'm pretty sure. So I'll just text it to you, I guess, or tweet it to you or something. And then, of course, guys, you have to think outside of the box on how you're going to fight. And, extraordinary times call for extraordinary solutions. I blocked CNN at my mom's house using parental controls. Now she keeps calling me saying, I can't watch the news. This is how we save America. No, I did not do this. My dad would figure it out. My mom would not. But my wife's mom, she would be screwed.
That's funny. That's funny.
And finally, guys, last but not least, are you threatening me?
Oh, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, that's all I got for the Memecast news. Play this,
all right.
This little outro here. Well, that was it. Look, we got 10 minutes to go. Yes, 10 minutes to go.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot of fun tonight. That was a good time.
Yeah,
I miss Bill, and my heart goes out to him because of what he has to do with putting down his dog. So
Tank.
I hope to see him here next time.
You just said Bill, didn't you?
I meant Tank. Sorry.
Yeah.
I just read your
I'm
name
not the only one,
screen.
misspeaking. So that's
Yeah.
good.
I miss Tank. That's what I meant to say.
Yes.
Tank. Hopefully we'll see him next time.
Tank and I missed a few good shows here recently. All right, Val's out with another $5 donation. Thank you, Val. Hey, guys, if you want to make a donation, do it now or forever hold your peace. It does help with the diaper money. And between this show and over on All Minus One, I've actually pulled in a little bit of money these past 2 months, which has helped out because again, our expenses have gone up. So I appreciate that, guys, for being able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm doing memes, I can't run through chat because it's just too many things I got to click on, guys. So
yeah.
But let's see. If you guys can't make donations in any case, you can always just hit the like button, share this out, subscribe. That help the channel grow. You can go over to my second channel, my other channel, where I run things solo most of the time. And that is All Minus One. If you haven't seen my work there, it's different in that this tries to be humorous. That is just kind of me. It's a little bit more serious. I go deep dive in level, nerd brain, whatever, and do my rants. And right now I'm on a strike, so won't be having any content there for another week and some days. But that's it. You guys a lot of you are here from Yizz, but Yizz, before we get out of here, go ahead and show yourself.
Well, I think that tonight I'll be talking to Nick and a few other people on Sniper's stream here in a little over an hour. And this Friday, I'll be interviewing Big Nick. He's been doing some good stuff, making waves and turning heads with his local school and school board. And Joshua Ham is with us in the chat tonight. And he and I are going to be doing a stream in the near future. I haven't gotten with him to set up a time for that yet. It might be on a Friday at the Corner Club, or it might just be a one-off stream as soon as we can make that happen. But we will be setting that up. We're going to talk about him, more stuff about him working with the Texas nationalist movement and all that good stuff. So that's what I've got cooking. And as always, you can find me on Discordant Dragons on Monday nights, but you can't find me on YouTube that night because Discordant Dragons is Odyssey primary. So Odyssey and with the entropy chat is how we'll be doing Discordant Dragons for the foreseeable future. Come have a laugh with us on Monday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. It'll be a good time. I promise.
And I caught your stream with Josh, and of course I know Josh and talked to Josh. Mm-hmm. It was a good stream, and what Josh is doing is something different. Part of how we're fighting is doing this stuff. He's on the ground level with trying to run for office now. Mm-hmm. So we need those people too. I'll probably have Josh either back on here at some point or on another over on All Minus One, that is, at some point, because I always like to hear the updates. Texas is a big state that needs to he's out in Tennessee. That's where, I can't remember where. Josh, you out in Texas? I can't even remember anymore.
Yeah, Josh is in Texas.
Okay. Getting myself confused here. Probably just need to eat something.
Yeah.
Probably just need to hit in stream. And I haven't had any that much to eat really since breakfast. I had a little nosh before I started the show. So in any case, but yeah, Texas is an important state in that they have a certain kind of history of that independence, and perhaps they might be able to break some of this federal stronghold. I'm hoping West Virginia does that if we don't get another cuck governor like the one we have now. But at least he's not as bad as Maryland's cuck governor. So there is that. In any case, folks, I'm going to get out of here. This is the show. So if you're new, I appreciate it. Please show up next week. We are live every Wednesday at 7 p.m. This has been The Ends Justify the Memes. And remember, the ends always justify those memes.
Oh, I'm talking about all the way to the top, yeah. Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in. But the cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah, Macho Magnus, yeah, has got more to offer. And President Jack Tunney thinks that I got. Yeah, I know. Let me tell you something right now. Cards stacked against the Macho Man Randy Savage in WrestleMania 3. Yeah, let me say it, yeah. Let me say it out loud. And let me point to the President of the world.